Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you for joining our call today. Got lots of people here on live, and also want to welcome you, and also want to welcome those who are listening in on the podcast. I just am super grateful for everybody that comes together to create this call, and the collaborative efforts that it really takes to create a gratitude call. It's not like most podcasts where the leader kind of plans ahead or gets a guest speaker or whatever, and we know exactly what's going to be shared that day. I have no idea until we get on the call and everybody starts sharing their gratitude. And today, that phrase collaborative efforts is what came to me. And it was specifically those words. I don't typically use the word effort because I like life to be really free and easy and flowing and not efforted, not hard. But I tried to write it a different way, and that word efforts kept coming back to me. So collaborative efforts, that is what we're going to be focusing on today. Gratitude for collaborative efforts. And I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds. And I just invite you to grab some paper and pen, write down whatever comes to you during this 90 seconds of private, silent meditation on gratitude for collaborative efforts. Begin. All right. That word effort was really kind of what sparked my thoughts this morning. It does take action. Like, I might have an idea, but unless I share it or do something with that idea, there is no collaboration. It's just me. And I might be collaborating with God, like receiving the inspiration, but the full effect of that idea can't be felt until I collaborate in some way with another person. It's not collaboration until another person is involved. And the word trust came to me. Trust is really, really huge with collaborative efforts. I have tried to collaborate with some people, and it either hasn't played out, because the two, me and the other person are not quite on the same page, or some kind of a trust issue or something has not allowed us to really kind of put down our walls and come together. And then I have collaborated with people who I can be totally open with. Laura is actually coming to visit me today. We're doing a retreat down in Arizona, and so she's flying here to Utah from Chicago. And then we're driving down to Arizona. And I have to say that my collaboration with Laura, there has been total trust from the very beginning. From the very first moment that I met her, I felt this just open ease in working with her. And she's always, I've never had, any doubt. She's always shown up in a way of that I could trust her. And I'm just super, super grateful. Other than, like my collaboration with my husband and very, very few other people, I have felt that immense amount of trust. And anyway, Laura, so super grateful for you.
Yeah, likewise. It's so true. It's like 2.5 years now, and it's just been since the very beginning. It's just a beautiful friendship and partnership, and it's evolved. It's just so amazing. I'm grateful for you.
Thank you.
And we've accomplished so much more together than we ever would have apart. And that was, if you don't mind me segueing, using the word du jour, to mine, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Okay. So the image that came to me was when my grandpa used to tell the story of growing up on a rural farm in Missouri. Well, when it was harvest time and it was time to slaughter the animals, it took so much effort to slaughter the animals and the livestock, and they had to do it, cows and chickens. They had to do it, maybe not chickens so much, but with pigs within a certain amount of time. Like they couldn't take 2 or 3 days to do it, right? Because the meat would spoil. So all of the farmers in the area would come together and work on one person's farm. And so they would slaughter the livestock on that farm and get it prepared for preservation. And then the next day they would go to the next person's farm and everybody would work on their farm. And that's how they did it. That's how they got so much done, like a barn raising, right? Same kind of concept. There's no way to raise a barn one person, So
awesome.
Anyway, yeah.
Thank you. The thought came to me, it does take physical effort. I've been harvesting and preserving my garden, and we as neighbors, we've been sharing our produce, which has been awesome. And I realized that, our physical bodies do require physical sustenance. And with winter coming on, we're very much aware right now of, that we're not going to be able to just walk out to the garden and pick a fresh tomato. I wish we could, but here in Utah, we can't do that. So it took a ton of effort to pull up all of our tomato plants, and we dragged them we brought them into the garage. And so now I went out and picked 3 ripe tomatoes yesterday out of my garage.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it was very physically tiring. And so I can imagine, how much more tiring it would be to slaughter animals and get the meat prepared. So how wonderful that is to invite other people to share that physical load to create our physical sustenance.
Yeah, and it makes everything happen so much faster.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't get it done in a day themselves, so they had to, but together they could do it. And it was that critical point of getting it done in one day, and together they were able. And it's like in that way, that's like a time warp. When we work together as in a collaborative effort, we create a time warp.
And back to what you were saying, that together you and I have created so much more in the last 2.5 years than either one of us could have done all by ourselves. And exactly. I 100% agree with that. Robert.
Well, the word collaboration, when you talked about that, what came to me was I like to collaborate with my spirit. because it'll tell me things that I need to know, and the events will happen accordingly. And as long as I collaborate with those feelings, those intuition feelings as part of collaboration, then it becomes more one with who I am and where I need to go and what I need to do.
I love that. That really ties into, our daily GPS when we're asking for those inspired shortcuts, because our intuition can really tell us what the next steps are, the next physical steps that we need to take. And this has been my study, Robert. Thank you for actually bringing me back to center on what my focus has been in preparation for the next thing, which I already know what the next thing is going to be, that I get to level up my understanding on. And the preparation for that is bringing my spirit and body together as one, that we work together as one. And thank you.
You're welcome.
And it is an effort too.
But it's kind of like communing with God. It's really the same way. So you're communing or collaborating with the Spirit. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Phil.
When I thought about this, I kind of saw this ball of sparks kind of traveling through the universe. And as it goes up and down, it leaves this little trail, and these sparks kind of fly off to the edge, and then they come back into the collectiveness again. And everything is this vibrational pattern. And sometimes in our lives, we're high, we're up, and we reach down and we lift others up. And when we're low, then there are those reaching down to lift us up and pulling us up to a higher function. And then it kind of went into mentoring, and a mentor collaborating with a mentee and seeing where they stand, and then offering that new perspective, the hand up, to help them get back into a rhythm, back into the flow. And the thing is that no one ever just gets to a point in life where they just vibrate like up all the time. Even at a high level vibration, then there's still down points. They still vibrate. Life happens and causes us to rethink and to focus our efforts to consciously move somewhere new.
Beautiful.
And so that's just what came to me.
Yeah, I love that. And I know, like with my husband and I, we have that within our partnership. There's that same like hand up, sometimes I'm down, he needs to lift me up. Sometimes he's down and I need to lift him up. And it's kind of like taking up the slack, and also at the same time providing some, emotional support or whatever's needed, to get us back up, and I feel like that the more that we are working on our own inspired journey, and when we use, we actually do grab onto those hands so that, we're lifted up faster than maybe we could have by ourselves, like with mentors or whatever, or personal development, that eventually we get to the point where our lowest lows are higher than most people's highest highs. And it's a wonderful place to be. We never really get into the depths of despair, because of this practice of always knowing where to reach up to grab onto something, to be, consciously choosing to pull ourselves up, and knowing where we can find those resources to pull ourselves up. Thanks, Phil. Who else? And I know this gratitude call, and Melinda's armor alignment call, and Laura's nightly restoring the soul, peace to the soul call, find a place to rest. I don't know why, Laura, I have a hard time remembering your name.
You know, I have to like do something about that. We all, I think we all do. It's basically it's an energy attunement call.
Energy attunement. Okay, we'll go with that. Thank you. Kathy and then Melinda.
What was really popping up for me, gratitude for collaboration, just thinking about the people that we bring into our lives. And it's just, the main thing is we just do really get so much more done together with greater results, but mostly it's just more fun.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Thanks for adding that into our effort. Just fun.
Totally. Yeah. And I love what Eileen, what you and Phil were talking about as well, you know, with the leveling up, that when we level up, we have the wave, right? And Phil, I was seeing it kind of as a wave, like there's a wave of energy. A wave goes up and down, and light, sound, you know, our heart beats in a wave pattern. And yet as we up level our energy, the lows become higher. And so the lows are the old highs, and we can level up. And like you were saying, Wiley, never experience that despair, and but still continue to flow, ebb and flow, and flow. So
beautiful. I'm grateful that you said that, because you know, we sometimes see these ups and downs as like, I'm getting dizzy, you know, from all of this ups and down roller coaster or whatever. But the you know, the process of life is an ebb and flow. It's like we send out and we receive back.
yes,
You know, we reach up and we reach down. You know, there's always going to be an ebb and flow. And I love that idea of just like raising the vibration of the ebb and flow. Melinda, you had something.
Yes, so I had something, but first I want to go off what you guys were saying. The ebb and flow, like something that came to my mind was when I was little on the swing set, and how it was hard to kind of get started at first, but also if I wasn't careful, I got like motion sickness. But if I didn't get motion sickness, it was like the most beautiful thing to be like swinging so high and just enjoying that flow. And so that's what I thought about when you guys were talking about how ebb and flow can be like this beautiful thing, you know, instead of motion sickness. And it depends on what kind of rhythm as you become one, like you've been talking about this morning, like just becoming one with yourself and your purpose and everything is, and let go of the resistance, how it can feel just like this beautiful, like you're flying and just soaring.
Thank you.
Yeah, but then the other thing I wanted to talk about, collaboration, just going off what I discussed last night on Laura's call and this morning on mine, and just this thing that I'm figuring out in my mind, to become one with myself and my husband and my family. But we have this decision to make, and I kept explaining to my husband, like, I have this natural gift to like just see what my next step is and just run. And sometimes my family kind of feel like they're hanging on for dear life. And so this decision that we have to make, you know, I've presented it and I'm like, I have this inspired action, and it's not as it normally would be. Like it's totally blank in front of me. And I couldn't understand why I'm not like receiving these insights that I would normally do. Like my gift is. And I'm like, it's just blank in front of me, and I don't understand what to do with that. And so as I've gently been kind of like explaining it to my husband, you know, then it would be blank after that part of it. And so as we collaborated and we talked more yesterday, so we've had a couples council the last couple weeks on this one subject. And I'll get a little bit more every time I talk to him. So it's like I must, like whatever this next movement is, it's like like Heavenly Father, inspiration wants him to be involved in some way, in his pace, and whatever that is, and like becoming one instead of making someone else motion sickness, right? And like flowing together that way. And what I noticed was yesterday there were a few other people that are involved, that would be involved in this decision, and those are my parents. And we went to visit my parents yesterday, and I talked to them, and it was like all of these questions that were in my mind that I'm like, wow, it's just blank. What about this? What about this? And they weren't being answered. The more I collaborated with people involved, it seemed like the picture started opening up more. Like, oh, that's what I was waiting for you to, to involve others. And so I think how important it is and how powerful and empowering it is to collaborate with one another, like on each of the calls. And thank you everyone who joined this morning, but also like these amazing opportunities we have to just gather as children, trying to, I think of it like a scavenger hunt, like working together instead of against one another, and how we're just running together, or instead of wandering, we're kind of moving with a purpose. It's really nice.
Awesome. I love that. And it really brings in that idea of counterfeit, because we think that we can just run faster if we don't have all this, people hanging on to us, or have to, get everybody on board or whatever. But it's just like Laura and I were talking about in the beginning, that we can create so much faster collaborating together. And it takes me back to that word effort that I was a little bit resistant to use. It takes less resistance and effort if we do that collaboration in the beginning. We might feel like, oh, we're not taking action, so nothing's getting done. But if you had just like bulldozed ahead, and just said, well, we're just, charging on, and I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I know we need to be running this direction or something, just charge ahead, but not, bringing those people on board with you, then eventually there's going to come a time when the resistance is going to be there, when they're going to be like, hold on, I'm not totally on board with this, or I don't know what you're doing or whatever. And then you've got to come back and be like, okay, let me explain it. And then, you maybe have some brick walls come up in front of you, and you have to go back and kind of get your bearings again or whatever. It really does take a lot longer if we force something through the resistance. And how beautiful that you have allowed yourself that patience to do that collaboration, because, and not just like charging ahead because you don't know, for sure what the next steps are. And what a beautiful experience for you to understand the power of that collaboration, and how this is actually a lesson, that God's teaching you, because you're getting a little bit more as you're collaborating. Did you have something else you want to add?
I love that so much. And just like how powerful it can be to discover together instead of running forward and be like, here's the prize, let me tell you how I did it.
Yes.
Like, to go find that together.
And how much more fun. Thank you. And you can all be successful together. Thank you. Robert.
Well, from that conversation, it reminded me of a story a friend told me one time. So you can collaborate together and conclude you're going to run to the top of that hill, and you go charge, and you and everybody runs to the top of that hill, except when you get to the top of the hill, you found out you're the only one that charged. What have you gained? There obviously was an unclarity in the collaboration for the purpose.
Gaining clarity.
Yeah.
Thank you. Gaining clarity for the purpose intended, and having everybody on board with the vision, what we're doing together. I heard somebody say once that you're not a leader unless you have followers, unless you have people that are willing to follow you. And gaining that clarity of vision is super, super important when you're collaborating.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. I know there's probably some other thoughts that could be shared. I invite you to go to our Breakthrough with Gratitude Facebook group and share your thoughts there. We'd love to continue collaborating with you and learning along with you. And take one more deep breath. Just invite you to be open to know there is a particular area or task or goal, something that you are creating right now, a creation that you've maybe gotten yourself into a place where you've gotten yourself so far, but then it's like, I'm not really sure what's next. And I invite you to be open to the possibility that collaborative efforts, collaboration is the perfect next step for you. And as we go into this meditation, just to be open to know next steps, inspired shortcuts of what that collaboration looks like, who maybe those people are to collaborate with, and just be open for God to tutor you right now in the best ways to proceed. Just one more deep breath. And gain a clear picture of the outcome that you're hoping for. And if you have gotten yourself so far, but then at some point right now, it's unclear of what the next steps are, just be open right now to know, is there an inspired shortcut that you can take, one most important thing that you can do today that will allow you to move forward even just one step. And write that inspired shortcut down. And then also being open to know who is the most important person for me to reach out to today that would actually help me to get there even faster. My effort plus someone else's effort would help create a more efficient completion of the goal. And as you're getting these inspired shortcuts of something you can do, and also a person that you could reach out to a person or an organization to reach out to make things go a little bit faster, a little bit smoother. If there is a limiting belief that's showing up for you right now, just acknowledge that limiting belief, write it down, and know that this is part of the process as well. And sometimes it's not that you need to add other people in. Sometimes it's that you need to get yourself out of the way, your old limiting beliefs out of the way. And so just be aware of any limiting beliefs that are showing up about this, finishing this goal, about collaborating, about doing it yourself, whatever those limiting beliefs are, just recognize them, acknowledge them, know that this is very much part of the process. And this is one thing that you can let go of today that will allow you to move forward powerfully. And with that limiting belief, also examine the cost of holding on to that limiting belief. What effect is that going to have on the desired outcome? And if you don't like that outcome, you can give yourself permission to choose a new belief that will produce a new outcome for you. And if you're ready to give yourself permission to choose a new belief, say yes.
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 Awesome. So 2 or 3 new beliefs that will replace that old limiting belief, something that will empower you to be able to continue moving forward on your path, to continue heading towards that end result. Maybe some new beliefs that will even teach you that you actually are closer than you think, that maybe you can see now with these new beliefs that it's already done, and expressing gratitude for what has been accomplished. So whatever new beliefs are going to serve you in continuing forward to actually arriving at that place of completion, of success, write those down. and really collaborate. Use these new beliefs as part of your collaboration, kind of a segue to collaborating with those new people. A vehicle that allows you to be able to collaborate with others and maybe collaborate with God a little bit more to receive new inspired shortcuts. Whatever is needed to complete this goal, allow these new beliefs to be the transition piece to allowing you to continue moving forward and to arrive at your destination. So you have your inspired shortcut, you have, or shortcuts, you have people that possibly need to collaborate with, and you have some new beliefs that are the vehicle that would allow you to continue moving forward. And in a moment, I'm going to invite one or two quick shares. Would also like to offer myself as someone to collaborate with. If you're stuck at all, if you're feeling like you need some extra support in just kind of breaking through and allowing yourself to continue forward on your path, all you have to do is just go to askwylene.com and you can schedule a 15-minute call with me, askwylene.com, to collaborate with me. And I have time for just one or two really short shares. Who would like to share something that they've experienced today? Tyree?
So I don't even know how this fits in all the way, but when I was growing up, I loved jumping off cliffs or bridges into water. And I loved, like, so you jump off, and when you jump off, I think the highest I've ever done is about 50 feet. And when you jump off a 50-footer, then you have enough time to take that breath of rush a couple times before you hit the water. And somehow that has something to do with collaboration, that just, instead of holding back, because if you look down at the water too long, then you just let fear and fear and fear rise up. But if you then you stop and you step back for a second, you say, okay, I'm doing it, and you just jump and turn off that logical part of your brain, then you get that fun, that rush, and you just trust that it's all going to be okay. And so instead of holding back and just staring down and seeing all the things to be afraid of, when I collaborate with Heavenly Father, just know that He is going to clear the way and make sure that everything is perfect. And so a couple of my new beliefs is God shows me the perfect way to proceed, and that I am arriving in complete, and I receive whatever's needed. So
Well,
hopefully
beautiful.
that made sense.
Thank you. And I'm just going to just encourage all of you, now that you have this new information from your inspiration today, to just jump and don't look at it too long, because I've experienced that where I look at it too long and it just, I talk myself out of it. So I love that. Thank you, Tyree. Laura.
Yes.
one
And
last share.
I just have to jump in for a second. This
Okay.
is Laura. So, oh my gosh, Tyree, that story. Okay. So I have only jumped off a cliff once. Okay. Wileen, I think you remember this story.
I do.
I was 19. It was about 45, 50 feet. Right. And the only way that I was able to jump is with a partner. So,
oh, wow. Thank
yeah,
you.
so we were holding hands and we counted to 5 and we jumped. But the funniest thing about this story, Tyree, is as it turns out, I black out in free fall. Okay. So, so I blacked out on the way down and I came to in the water. Right. And the funny part, I had a boyfriend at the time, and he took a picture from the bottom, and I was completely blacked out. It looked like somebody tossed a dead body over the cliff. Okay. And my friend was like, "We," in the traditional jumping position, with arms akimbo and stuff. And so I have no idea what the passing out has to do with anything, but it's hilarious. I never realized at the time how close I'd come to death, to be honest. The fact that I came to in the water and didn't suck in any water is kind of amazing, but probably some instinct there. But anyway, yeah, it's like such a great thing. Like the collaborative effort, it's like we won't jump if we're not together, right? We just kind of hang back in our safe spot, but being together helps us step out on that cliff edge and take the jump. And so calls like this and Melinda's armor alignment and, my energy attunement at night, it brings us into that space where we're collaborating for our growth. And that includes jumping off those cliffs. So
Thank you.
Awesome.
I appreciate you sharing that. And I just want to, just one little final thing that I know, Lara, because you have encouraged me to jump off cliffs, and I've encouraged you to jump off cliffs as in our time together over the last couple of years.
Totally.
That I believe is why that I think is a huge piece to how things move faster when we're collaborating with someone. It's that encouragement from someone that you trust.
Yes.
And I think that is really a huge key to why we can move so much faster.
And because the other part of that was when we were standing on the edge of the cliff, it's even related in the story. And when we hit 5, she hesitated the slightest bit. And I'm like, "No, we're going." But I wouldn't have had the courage to say, "No, we're going,"
Yeah.
And she probably would have held back. And of course, I wouldn't have had my near-death experience. But, hey, it's been a great story for like 35 years. So 30 years.
Well, thank you.
Anyway.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Can I ask just one thing here?
Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah. Okay. So I just begs this question. I think most of us on this call are coaches or, at a point in our life where we want to give back. And I would ask that question, what can I do to help people trust me?
Oh, good.
How can I build trust? Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out.
Thank you. That's
all this going through, if you're going to be in that spot, then that's a good question to ask yourself.
Yeah. What can I do to allow others people to trust me? Yeah, I love that, because that trust is really what allows true collaboration. I love that. Maybe we can all ponder on that. Oh, we need to end our call. I know we could just continue talking. This has been an amazing subject. I appreciate everything that has been shared. We will go ahead and close our call today. We'll look forward to being back together with you 7 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time tomorrow. And in the meantime, join us over on the Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude. We'd love to continue collaborating there. Thanks, everyone.
Love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.